I'm standing outside of my brand new 40-foot outdoor run for both our chickens and our guinea fowl. For years, we've let both our chickens and our guinea fowl free range our property. We have around 10.5 acres here, and we absolutely loved it. But for a few reasons, which I'll talk about today, we decided to actually move them into a caged enclosure outside, although we did give them lots of room, as you can see. But we're going to talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of free ranging to help you decide if it's something you want to do with your guinea hen. First, let's talk about some of the advantages of free ranging your guinea hens. And the number one reason why we actually got guinea hens, and guinea hens have become so popular in raising in backyards, is they're going to be a natural pest control. If you're letting them roam around your property, they could actually eat up to around 400 ticks per day, which if you have a tick problem, which we had, our dogs were always coming inside with ticks at night. They were getting into our bed, on our couches, not something that you want. So getting guinea hens was a great way to naturally reduce our ticks within our property. If this is something you're looking for, this can be a great reason to have them free range in your property. We have around 10.5 acres, and we did keep them enclosed into probably around a 3-acre plot of land with a low barrier fence, and we did trim their wings, which did keep them inside of the enclosed area. We'll talk about this in just a bit, the pros and cons of actually trimming them. But if you are looking to keep them a bit contained, this is a great way to keep them contained without having a fenced in area, because they are very big wanderers and will be known to wander acres and acres of land. So they're keeping our land safe from any types of ticks and bugs. They actually are going to be a natural born watchdog protector. You might hear them in the background, and whenever we have mail trucks or guests come over, they're always making quite large noises to ring the alarm bell that there are intruders around. So if you do have an area that you do want to have an extra watchful eye on, this is a great way to do it. We also found that when having our guinea hens and our chicken together, if you are not allowed to have roosters in your area, guinea hens did a really great job of watching over the herd. If anything from the sky or ground came as a predator, they were really great at sounding the alarm, and then oftentimes they would drive our dogs or just alarm us while we were inside the house that they were outside and something was coming, and then we could help scare it off. They definitely are not the smartest bird, so if the predator did actually start to come and was not afraid of the noise, most of the time they risk their life for the rest of the flock that could then run into safety, but oftentimes they did not make it out alive. So something to think about if you have a lot of predators that are coming out to your herd, this could actually be pretty detrimental for that watchful guinea hen, because once something comes at them, they just can't really run or get away. We found one time we came out and there was a fox in our yard coming after them, and they just repeatedly kept running into a tree until the fox was literally inches away from them. Luckily, our dogs and I had run out, so we were able to save that guinea hen. But had somebody not been there and they were just kind of alarming with their noises, they would have been eaten pretty quickly. Another great advantage that's similar to raising your chickens is that it is their natural desire to wander and free range. They're able to forage for their own food, which is going to help save on any feed costs, and they're able to actually get a wide variety of nutrients from little buggies, weeds in the ground, and get additional sunlight, say if they weren't allowed an outdoor run that could get sun. So they're getting a lot of extra vitamins and nutrients that they wouldn't otherwise get if they were just inside of a coop all day or stuck to one dietary restriction. As mentioned, we decided to actually move our chickens from free ranging into a coop, and we did this because of a lot of the disadvantages that you can get from free ranging your chickens, which are thus advantages because they won't take place. And the first one is guinea hens love to wander. We started off with 10 guinea hens, and we now have 2. This is because of 2 major reasons. One is they love to wander, and they will wander for acres and acres of land. So unless you have quite a large farm with a nice barrier fence to keep them in, they will wander and leave your property. And we did have a few that wandered off into the neighbors' properties, that wandered off into the woods and did not return. And that left us with to guinea hen. Luckily, we already had our chicken flocks, so we were easily able to train them because we let them live with our chickens and they started to learn to come in at night. But if you're just raising guinea hens on their own, they might not learn to actually come in at night unless you do some really thorough training with them and teach them to come into their coop at night. And during the day, they still may wander. They're known to go up and sleep in trees or an area that they feel really safe. So if you do not have an area that's safe for them, then this can also lead to a disadvantage number 2, which they're not going to be safe from predators. So if you do have predators from the sky and from the ground, they can definitely get to your guinea hens. We have a friend that let their guinea hens free range, and a lot of them did not make it because they were always hunted down by the predators that were around them. And they even had 50 acres of land that they could roam around in without going into a neighbor and getting lost, and they didn't really make it. Now, at our homestead, we do clip their wings. This can be quite controversial because if you are letting them free range all the time, then they aren't as easily able to get away from predators. So if you're clipping their wings, they can't fly off into a tree and help protect themselves, which, as I mentioned, my friends that had guinea hens, they still were able to fly. They did not clip their wings and they still did not make it because some predators are just really smart. Our guinea hens, we do clip their wings and we keep them in a more confined area when we were free ranging them. But we also were always home and had our dogs around to help watch over them as well. So if anything did come, they would usually sound their alarm. We'd come running out and help them. And we didn't lose them to too many predators because of this. And then at night, we always locked them up inside of our coop so that they had a safe place to stay. And during the day, the coop was also always open so they could run into there if needed. And they could still fly around to some elevated sources, but they just couldn't go high up into like a 40-foot tree. Right next to me is our garden. If you have guinea hens that are free ranging, they can get into your garden, and similar to chickens, they will scratch around and love to eat the goodies within the garden. Now, it's said that they will not eat any of the fruits or vegetables that you're looking to eat, and instead are just going to eradicate some of the bugs that you might not want, as well as eat some of the weeds. We found that when we did let our guinea hens and chickens free range and have access to our garden, they literally just ate whatever they wanted. Nothing was safe when they were in there. So definitely something to think about because they can eat all the goodness in your garden and then you won't really have it. I've also found that when you let them wander, there can be little poop and droppings in different places. So if you have kids or dogs or you're just walking around barefoot, then there could be poop in spots that you don't want it, which makes it nice when they're more contained in a space that you can maintain, clean, and know what you're getting when you walk in there. Depending on where you live, guinea hens can be a nuisance to your neighbors, and it definitely takes into account how much property land you have. If your neighbors are in close proximity and you already have laws restricting you around hens, then the noises of guinea hens can be quite bad if you are letting them free range. By keeping them in a contained space, you are able to control where exactly the noises are coming from. And if you have neighbors close by, then you can put the guinea hens in an area that isn't necessarily going to be as loud because they can be quite loud. I'd say similar to roosters in noise, but it's a little more disguised. Not everyone knows what a guinea hen sounds like, so they aren't gonna go tattletale on you for having guinea hens, and they aren't making the noises every single morning at the crack of dawn. It's more of an alert system than a hey, wake up system like a rooster would do. Now, if you decide that you do want to free range your guinea hens, there's a few things that you definitely want to keep in mind. First off is making sure that you really train your guinea hens from the beginning. You let them know exactly where they're gonna be living. You have them in that space, so when you get them as little chicks, you make them contained to that area up until a couple of weeks, probably like 8, 10, 12 weeks, depending on time of year. And then when you do start letting your guinea hens out, you do it gradually, really contained. And if you do have chickens, I definitely suggest raising them with your chickens. We've had a lot of success with it. I know I've heard different varying opinions, but if you get them at the same time, or if you have the chickens first and then you integrate your guinea hens into it, I found that the chickens have actually taught all of our guinea hens how to get in and out of their coop, when to do it, and to know what time of day to do it. So they're really training them for us. And then something to think about is to always just have that safe place for them. So make sure that you are getting a coop for them. You have it opening and closing. You have lights to help protect them. They do not see very well at night, so you want them to be able to guide themselves into the coop at night and then be able to rest there in a safe place and then guide themselves out during the day. Lastly, one thing to keep in mind is to always have some type of perimeter around your property. So if you are letting them free range and you have acres and acres, they will wander around it. I would definitely make sure that you had some type of barrier fence so they know what areas to roam within, where to stop, and this will allow them to actually know that they can come back to home. A great way to train your guinea fowl is with good feed and treats, so make sure that you're stocked up. Best of luck with your guinea hens. We absolutely love them. They had such a variety to our flock. They're super fun to look at, and they're a really interesting bird that not everyone has, so they're pretty fun. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye.